Hey all. First off, I just wanted to thank everybody for the great response to the post we made yesterday. It's been really awesome to see that people like what we did and that they have questions and want to see it continued. So I just wanted to make a quick tutorial on getting started with creating a texture pack and working with the program a little bit. So the first thing that you'll need to do is go to the Reddit post that we made on Minecraft RTX or Minecraft or the Minecraft Bedrock subreddit. Scroll down to the bottom of the post to find this download button. After you've downloaded it, you're going to get a zip file which has these two files in it along with the texture pack that I created using this program. You can use the texture pack or just delete that or put it wherever you want to, but make a folder somewhere and unzip these two files into it. Make sure that this stays with this as it's required to make it work correctly, and then you can just open the program using that exe. This is what it's going to look like when you first open it. It's got a few tools, a few channels for you to edit, and a couple other things down here which we'll talk about in a second. The pen tool is pretty basic. It just edits pixel to pixel like that, and it's pretty simple to use. The select tool works about how you'd expect it to. You can select a wider area just by clicking on one spot and pulling, or select more accurately by holding shift and selecting specific areas like this if you have strangely shaped textures. And you can just delete your selection by clicking with the select tool anywhere. Finally, there's the color picker, which just allows you to pick whichever color you want to from the pixels, and that will change these here. These are the different channels for you to work with when you're making a texture. The first one is just the basic texture file. This is what the block is going to look like, basically how it would look in vanilla Minecraft. These three affect how much light the block does or doesn't create in different areas of it, whether or not it's rough or smooth, so how basically just reflective of light that it is. The top of this grass block in the background is smooth, while the side of it is rough, and so the top has a bit of a plasticky look to it. The metallic is used for more precise reflections of light so that you can see colors and shapes and what things actually look like. The height map changes where on the block the pixels believe themselves to be raised or lowered. So the tops of these blocks, you can see that these areas are raised and so have these shadows behind them created by the sun, and these areas are lowered and so they are clearly shown to be down by the highlights that are created. The tools down here, add noise, simply takes all the pixels and will change them slightly, like raise their brightness or lower their brightness to give a bit of a mottled texture, which is really useful for things like the top of grass blocks and sand. Grayscale adjust inside of these channels allows you to change the contrast and the brightness along with inverting. Applying to all frames just means that for blocks that are animated, you can apply the contrast changes to every frame of that animation. This is slightly different in the texture channel, as the color shift that you can do allows you to change how the color is in different areas, such as red, green, and blue, raise and lower that, and also how transparent it is for blocks like glass. You can also switch it to using hue, saturation, and lightness to change the hue of the area, obviously, and the saturation and the brightness of it. These aren't going to do anything with black and white as they only affect color. So, when you actually want to work with different textures, you're going to need to do a couple things first. So let's close out of this and I have this folder here which just has everything that I need within it. It's got the texture editor, it has my completed texture packs, the ones in progress, and vanilla textures for reference, which is important. I also have this shortcut which I will explain later. So what you're going to want to do first is create a texture pack folder. Name it whatever you want the texture pack to be called, and that's going to need a couple things in it. For the sake of our program, we're going to have this textures file, and it's only going to have this folder called blocks in it, as we will only be working with blocks. The most important thing you need to do first is have this manifest JSON, which is going to look like this, and I'm going to post this format in the description so you can copy it and just make your own JSON with it. But when you are making multiple texture packs, you will need to make sure that they all have unique UUIDs so that they show up separately in the game, and you'll need to change the descriptions and names of whichever ones you're working with. So once you have that down, you've got this folder, and let's delete this. So you'll have an empty blocks folder. From here, you're going to want to go to the game files, which the easiest way to get to that at first is going to be to go to %appdata %, go up one from roaming to app data, go into local, go down to packages, and then go to Microsoft.Minecraft UWP. From here, go to local state, games, com.mojang, and then this is the main game files folder. We are going to be working with the development resource packs folder, but most general resource packs will just go into this folder. This is useful as you can edit the texture pack while having the game open and simply exit a world and go back into it to see the changes you have made. When you have a texture pack within the resource packs folder, you have to entirely exit the game between making edits. So in here, let's go back to our created texture pack and then just copy it. We're going to be wanting to affect these both at the same time as we work with it so that the effect can be seen in-game and so that we have a backup just in case anything happens to either folder. So to get textures to work with, the easiest thing to do is to download the vanilla resource pack from the internet. I'm going to put a link to where you can get that in the description, but I have it right here. So inside of that folder, what you care about is textures. You're going to want to go into the blocks folder, and for the sake of this, we're going to work with two different blocks. We're going to work with the barrel side texture. So copy that, go back to your texture pack and into the blocks and paste the PNG, and then go back to the vanilla textures. And we are also going to work with the redstone lamp texture. So copy these two, the off and the on, and bring those back to your resource pack as well. So now that we have those in there, we can open the TextureEdit program, press Ctrl-O, and open one of these textures. So now that we have the barrel side texture in here, it will automatically put the PNG into the texture channel. So that's just going to work normally and look regular. Everything else is going to look somewhat like this, but without the noise in this channel. This will just mean that your block is not reflective, is rough, does not make any light, and has no different heights anywhere on it. The easiest thing for a lot of blocks, such as dirt and grass, for the height map will be simply to select the entire texture, copy it, and paste it into the height map. But personally, for this type of texture, in which we have a bunch of wooden planks with space between them and some metal, I would want to work more individually. So I would keep this at 50, and then I would overlay the texture so I can see what I'm working with. And for everything that is a raised plank, I might put it at something like 80% for each one. So this will make it raised, but not as high as it can go on the block. And because on a texture like this, the holes between the planks are most likely just holes and not slightly divoted areas, I would probably take them holding shift click so that I can select all of them and change them all at the same time, and lower them all the way to really affect the contrast on the height map. Finally, the metal areas, since they are wrapped all the way around the barrel, I'll put to 100% for both of them so that they are the highest thing on the block. Also, because these are made of metal, something fun you can do is just make only these areas somewhat reflective and also smooth to show that they are made of metal and to give some interesting contrast on the block. I'm personally a big fan of the barrel texture for this reason. So once you have everything working how you expect it to and looking correct, what you're going to do is press Control S to save, and it should be named the same as the file that you originally opened, so they're both named barrel side, and then you'll click save, and yes, you want to replace it, and you'll get these two new files, the barrel side MER and the barrel side normal. The MER is just indicating which channels it should be for the metallic, emissive, and roughness, how that should look. The normal is for the height map. For future reference, when opening files, if it already has a MER and a normal, you should still just open the regular PNG. The program will notice the MER and the normal and open those alongside it. Now that you have these, you're going to copy them and paste them inside of the folder that you made inside of the game files. This is just going to make sure that they work in-game. Next, we're going to work with the redstone lamp. So first, we're going to open the redstone lamp off texture. You're going to find that all of the channels besides the texture are the same as the last file you were working with. This is useful when you're working with something like wooden planks or other textures that are the same in the way their height maps would work, but are simply different colors, as you can open, after creating the first one, open the next versions of that texture and then save them over and over again much more quickly. That saved me a lot of time when I was making my texture pack. But since this one is a different texture, we are going to be working with a different height map. For the sake of time, for the height map, I'm simply going to copy the texture here and paste it in here, though normally I would want to make it a lot less noisy. I'm also going to make sure that the roughness is 100% and that the metallicness is 0%, so that the texture does not have any strange bits left over from working with the barrel. For now, since this is the off texture, we're not going to change anything about the emissive channel. So this should be good for just the off texture. So we'll go ahead and press Control S again and save that. And then we're going to open the redstone lamp on. Metallic and rough should already be where we want them to be, as well as the height, so all that we need to do is change the emissive. I'm going to turn on the overlay texture so I can see what I'm working with, turn it to 100% brightness, and then just wherever I see areas that I think should have light, I'm going to color in. Of course, I'm just doing this quickly. I would normally want this to be much more evenly done and in a way that I think makes more sense with the way that the texture looks, but this will work just for the sake of learning how to use it. So now that this is in a condition that it should work fine in game, I'll press Control S one more time, save, yes, replace it, and then take all of the textures for the redstone lamp, MERs and normals, copy those, and paste them into the folder. So that's all we're going to work with for now. So the next step to make sure that everything is working properly is going to be to go into the game, click play, create yourself a new world. Go into resource packs and make sure to activate yours. Mine is named this because I didn't change it within the manifest. After that's activated, just for ease, I'm going to make this a creative world and then create it. When your world is loaded up, you'll know you've done your manifest correctly because it'll be in RTX mode. All the lighting will be working normally. So you're going to want to get the blocks that you edited. In my case, it is the barrel and the redstone lamp. And just find a good place in the sun. Place down the barrel. You can tell that it's working properly because only the metal bands on the barrels are having the light reflect off of them, showing that the work we did with the metallic and roughness channels is working correctly. And we can see that the normal map has worked because the height is different between the little slats, and also the metal is raised up over the rest of the block. Next, we're going to make sure that the lamp worked. When we place it down, you can see the height map. It's a little bit messy because we just copied the texture, which is why I like to do it a little bit more subtly, but we can make sure the lighting worked too by just placing down our redstone torch, and we can see that it emits light only from where we told it to. So that is all working just as we expect it to. Just a note, any blocks that you have not edited will have a fully smooth roughness map, and that is why they have this very strange sheen coming off of them, making them look like plastic. So when you start, I would recommend working with those files first so that when you're testing you can take it a little bit easy on your eyes. But yeah, everything has worked how we expect it to. So that's all that I plan to show in this video. I hope that it was helpful, and if there's anything that I didn't cover that you would like me to, or if you have any more questions or suggestions about the program, please go ahead and put them in the comments down below this video, or go to the Reddit page and feel free to comment on that or DM me personally. Everything that you need in terms of the different web pages and stuff to do with the manifest should all be in the description. And yeah, I hope that you guys have a lot of fun working with this, and make sure to show any cool textures that you make on the Reddit. I'm excited to see what people make. Have a good one, guys.